Hi, David.
Morning.
How are you? We're collecting a little bit of teacher feedback about IPW and what the week means to you. Wondered if you could talk a little bit about it and your personal experiences, some of the things you've led.
My first thought is before we started this interview, you used the phrase, why do we sacrifice a week of school? And my answer is because I think it's the best week in the year. From the students having input into, designing what they want to do, teachers bringing their own personal passions, working with people that I don't usually get a chance to work with, and ultimately, in the last 4 years, bringing a real sort of passion of my own life to the party. So that's just it's truly integrated beyond the idea that I can defend that there's history and there's music and there's math and there's science, but it's integrated in all parts of people's lives. So we start, I assume you know, that the students are asked to brainstorm ideas. And I'm a little suspect about those. So one thing that's clear is, anything that involves food, anything that involves overnight trips, those are good. But there was one year that I was looking over the list and some kid wrote rocket science, like as in, that's not rocket science. So I got out, like I remembered when I was 12 that I built model rockets with my friend's father. And so we created, another teacher and I created a curriculum where we built model rockets. And then I built the standard and they had to change one variable, so it was a controlled experiment. We built these handheld heightometer, altimeters. So it's incorporating some mathematics into it, and we launched them, and then we adjusted them, and we launched them again, trying to get that's fulfilling what one student was interested in. But what I've done for the last 4 or 5 years is actually something that I'm really excited about. For 20 years or more, I've been a volunteer on the tall ship Clearwater. Clearwater is a nonprofit organization founded in the late 60s by, among other people, Pete Seeger, the goal being to clean up the Hudson River. And, how do we get people to care about the river? Well, let's build this amazing 110-foot wooden sailboat, and people are going to come down to the river and say, what's that? And now we have a teaching platform. So I was like, how can I involve the boat? The boat doesn't sail in the winter. There's ice on the river. We need to do maintenance on the river. Sorry, maintenance on the boat.
That would be incredible.
Of course. Well, we're doing maintenance on the river all the time. We're trying to get PCBs out of the river. We're trying to, protect endangered species. What's grown out of that is a collaboration, and I called a friend who at that time was the captain of the Clearwater, and she and I put together what they call the Winter Bosun Project and what I call the science of sailing. Bosun is the person on board a ship responsible for repair and maintenance. So it's 5 days. We spend the first morning, we start learning a little bit about simple machines. The afternoon we go down to South Street Seaport. We look at some of the boats. We sometimes get a tour of one of the big boats down at South Street. We do more classroom work on Tuesday, and then Wednesday night into Thursday, we travel upstate to where the boats dock for the winter. And the students learn a skill that has an academic component. So we can play with pulleys in the classroom, but they can lift 100-pound objects with the giant pulley blocks that they have for the boat. So they actually get to experience that, and then they take that understanding of how that piece of equipment works, and they do maintenance on the boat. Every winter, all of the pulley blocks need to get pulled apart, they need to get cleaned, they need to get re-greased, they need to get screwed back together. So they're doing service work. They learn some knot tying, and then they spend some time tying this particular piece of equipment that serves, basically makes a big giant bushy chafe protector to keep the sail from rubbing against things that would make holes in it. So there's 3 little components. Each of them involves an academic piece of learning that they can then apply to the service learning, and they're working for the betterment of the vessel, which is going to be protecting the Hudson River Valley. So it's a connection, hopefully, I think, lifelong connection to the boat and to the river that comes through this little project. And it's amazing. It's gotten popular enough that in the description I added a line that says, be prepared to spend a cold, uncomfortable night sleeping on the floor.
Right.
So that,
They don't think
they're really
in plush
committed.
hotel accommodation.
Right, and they're committed to coming and doing the work.
It's always an incredibly popular one with my students. Thanks for your time today.
Very welcome.